He didn't have a negative bone in his body, like at all. Energetic, outgoing, funny, goofy, always had a smile on his face. Like could have gave him the name Cheeseburger.
My son, I know everybody say mothers say they had a good son, everybody's son is good, but my son, he actually was a good boy. My son loved me to death. And I know that was a bad word, but that's how he felt.
We know what you mean.
Yes, ma'am. We love
He had my name tattooed on his arm, and that made me proud, because most kids don't put their mom's name. But he did. On a Saturday, my son would wake up, go to Starbucks, he'd go to Shelby Farms, because he liked to skateboard. That was his passion. He's been skating since he was 6 years old. That day, when he left around 3 o'clock, he was on his way to Shelby Farms because my son every night wanted to go and look at the sunset. That was his passion, going to Shelby Farms to watch the sunset and take pictures.
I want Tyre to be remembered as and this not just me talking for no interview. This is a great kid. I want kids and other people to know ain't nothing wrong with being yourself. Tyre brought something out of me to make me feel like, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to follow a trend to be loved. You can be yourself. You can skateboard, you can ice hockey, you can do whatever that you want to do. And people will still love you.
All I know is my son was a great, great kid. He didn't deserve what he got. Now what he deserves is justice.
Welcome to the Big TV Network. Hello, America. This is Dr. David Evans, also with my sidekick, my right hand, Michelle Cox from Atlanta, Georgia. Michelle, we are here today to celebrate the life and legacy of a young man that the whole world is praying for the family, and we fell in love with him. Michelle, can you just read our comments today?
All right, but before we read our comments, let's thank our partners over here at the Washington Post for that wonderful video that we shared.
Thank you, Michelle.
And we want to send our condolences to the family of Tyre Nichols, Mr. and Mrs. Wells. Our prayers and our condolences go out to you and your family everywhere.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, Michelle. This young man is, a young man who is on the right track, doing the right thing. And we want to celebrate the highlight. The whole world's looking at the tragedy of him being beaten, and our hearts are broken. But there is another side. This was a young man who was a worker. He was an African-American. He was a skateboard lover. He loved to take pictures. And we want to highlight those things, the beautiful things that this man was doing, Michelle. And let's talk about, a young man who, again, just doing the right thing, Michelle.
Well, let's look at all the positive aspects when we talk about Mr. Nichols. Number one, he was a father and a good father. Mm-hmm. He was also good in his community. He works for FedEx, and he loves skateboarding, and he spent his time looking at sunsets in the evening. And his mom and dad and friends and family only have positive things to say. Yeah. He never had an arrest record, and he never had any interaction with the police. So when we look at the positive, we have to celebrate positive ways to celebrate this man and his life. And part of that positive is being a young African-American man that was a responsible parent. The other positive was he loved his mom and dad. Yeah. His mom said he had her name tattooed on his arm, and that he loved her to life. And that's what's important. The other part of it is, let's give some credit to the chief of police for Memphis as well, because she didn't believe the statements that were there. She
Yeah.
did the investigation for herself, and she went to make sure that this young man is going to get justice. Their family is going to get justice. And it was swift. So those are other positive things that we can take from this. But here's even more. Are you folks reading now? Are you reading and keeping abreast of African American history? Because when I talk to Dr. Evans and we have these conversations around what might happen to young men, part of it is, are we reading our history to know that policing started with slave patrols? That's one of the reasons why when there are interactions, they might want Black people, or they want people to get on the ground, because what they want is total control. Doesn't mean that it's right. We just know what it is.
Yeah.
So now as a community, now with the heartbreak, what can we do to change the narrative? What can we perform to make sure that when we remember this man's life, that we're doing something positive? So here are some of the things that I would suggest. He has a son. I don't know if they have a GoFundMe, but I think if everybody sent a couple of dollars to the parents, to his fiance, or to the parents, as a trust for this son, so he can graduate from college, or he has a trust to make sure that when he grows up, his way is forward. The other part of it is send out prayers.
Yeah.
Prayers are amazing, because only God knows where we are, and God knows our heart. So when we send out prayers and those salutations for the family, it makes things easier. Does it mean it doesn't hurt? No, we're not saying it doesn't hurt. We're saying that let's do positive action to celebrate this man. The family had already said, if you're going to protest peacefully.
Yeah.
If you and your friends are doing things, you can donate to children's causes in his name as a positive legacy. There's so many positive things that you can do to make sure that this young man is remembered for all the positive things he did. Dr. Evans, what do you think?
I think, Michelle, you're spot on. You know, as usual, you are an anchor person. Hello America with Pick TV Network. This is a special presentation that we remember Tyre Nelson and his wonderful family. There's no way in the world that we could be an African American television network and not take time out to celebrate the good side of this man's life. We're not highlighting anything about the officers in the beating. We're not even showing that. We're showing the beautiful things that this young man did. Michelle, I want to ask you, when we met 3 years ago and you did the interview on Pick TV Network, and I want you to donate some of your books, and I'll pay for them to some of the families there in Tennessee who's really hurt. Those families there. I know you have a new book coming out. We're going to talk about that too. But Michelle, when you first came on Pick TV Network, you said, Dr. Evans, I want to help your network. I'm tired of seeing African American lives being taken and we embarrassing ourselves on TV. You know, I'm tired of seeing that, and I have to do something. I said, Michelle, I need a PR person. You said, that's me. And we brought on the Safe Light president. We brought on Delano with Les Brown, and you brought Isaac Hayes III, and you begin to work and bring on other people, and you give towards this network. But I want to ask you, Michelle, what prompted you to say, I got to help Pick TV Network, because I'm tired of seeing that on our TV. Blacks killing blacks, people shooting each other, us disrespecting each other on TV.
Well, you have to think about it. So for the people that don't know, BET is owned by Sony Viacom. So, and then you have other networks that have Black programming, but they're not Black owned. So we don't see the total representation of who we are on television. We don't see that we're inventors, doctors, lawyers, engineers, all the positive things that we do every day. What we see, we get a focus on the negative parts. And until we can do better with our programming for Black people, when Dr. Evans and I met in Clubhouse, I was like, I don't want to do standard television. I want to focus on the excellence of Black people. I want to focus on the good parts of the things that we do, because there's enough negative representation. And that's why I'm here with the PIC TV network. That's why I have been able to give what I have to the PIC TV network. That's why when Dr. Evans calls on me and I can do all the things that I can do, I want to support a network that has positive programming and positive representation for Black people, because representation matters. And we have to do everything we can do to make sure that people see us in the light that we know that we shine in.
Mm-hmm. You know, when I want to say, to you, Michelle, when we did this show and I told you we're going to talk about Tyreek and his family, you said, can we focus on the positive? We know what's going on CNN. We know they're showing the beat. We know everybody on the internet is already know that this is wrong and his life was taken and he was innocent. But you said, can we talk about the positive? Can you talk about that, Michelle?
Yes, because sure, we know what happened. There are people that haven't even watched it because it's too horrific. But at the end of the day, how can we celebrate a life and make that life into a platform for doing good?
Yeah.
And if you're going to do anything for the Nichols family, for Mr. and Mrs. Wells, for the memory of his son, make sure that it's positive, because two wrongs don't make a right. You can go out here and you can do all these negative things, or you can say, hey, this was a skateboarder. Let's go clean up a skateboard park, or let's put up a memorial, or let's, feed some hungry children, all in his name, because he was about sunshine.
Yeah.
He was about positivity. He's a guy, if you look at his videos, he smiled, he was goofy, he was funny. He liked, and he had love, not only for his people, but for nature.
Yeah.
He respected and loved his father and mother. As people, those are the things that we can do. We can respect our parents and follow his positive example.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, Michelle. Folks, you're watching a special segment today, Hello America, PIC TV Network, with Michelle Cox. She's an analyst from, award-winning analyst from Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Dr. Evans, PIC TV Network. And we just taking some time out to show the positive things about Tyreek. Again, this young man was doing the right thing, great man on track for his life, a man who from down south. And also he was came in from California. That's correct. That's why he probably loves surfing. That was a beautiful thing. He came over here and doing something beautiful to keep his life and family going forward. Michelle, I'm going to talk about down south. You know about Mississippi. You know about down there. Let's talk about
Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Texas.
Let's talk about the good things, like your grandmother and the person who raised you. When we talk about who lived and one of your loved ones who passed away, or family members who passed away. There's a whole bunch of good people down south, and you sure can cook. You guys are the best cooks in the world. So let's talk about the good folk down south.
Well, there's a lot of good people in the South, everywhere. I grew up in Mississippi. My mother's from North Carolina. My dad's from Louisiana. So when we talk about the South, I have good memories. The good memories are sweet potato pie, peach cobbler, greens, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, family reunions, and playing with my friends. I grew up in a time where we went out and played, and we had to be when the street lights came in, we had to come in. But I remember me and my friend, we would walk each other halfway home, and we would run and holler down the street, "Hey, did you make it?" Just because that's what we did as kids, and those are the good times that we remembered. And our kids can still have a good time. When I go down south, when I just adopted, I don't know if I told you, Dr. Evans, I have he's now 19, and I adopted a young man out of the foster care home. And so we went to Mississippi so he could meet his aunts and uncles and family members and cousins, so he could feel that love of family.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing when you talk about people in Memphis and Tennessee and Mississippi and Georgia, Alabama, Florida, you get that sense of family. And that's one of the things that I love. That's one of the reasons why I live here in Georgia. People still speak when you go down the street. How you doing? How's your day? Happy New Year or Merry Christmas. And I love the warmth and the wonderfulness of the people. And we have to remember that, because the other part of it, we've been dealing with the pandemic for several years now. And a lot of people have what we call COVID fatigue. But if we remember to smile, even with our eyes, or as we wear our masks or whatever, and just nod our heads and say, hey, how you doing today? Mm-hmm. You never know how that can positively affect someone's life.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, I want to thank you, Mr. I give you a lot of love. Folks, you're watching special presentation today. This is the PIC TV network on right now. I have my award-winning anchor person on, Michelle Cox from Atlanta, Georgia. We've done so many shows. Reconnecting the generation. Yeah, the food desert. She kicked us off with over 40, 50 shows, her and Patty from New York. And now we're talking about a special segment today of the good things that this young man, Tyre Nelson, has done, and his Nichols and his mother and father. When I look at his parents, I just see good people. I see good people raising their kids up the right way. Dad, nice, quiet man. You know, mom's just loving. And for her to say, I don't want you to riot. For her to say, I don't want you to do it. I just want everybody to do this in peace. You had to see God in her. You had to see God in her, Michelle.
And we do. And that's one of the things that we have to remember. These were people that love God. And they told everybody, if you're going to protest, be peaceful. And remember him in a good and loving manner, because he was a good and loving young man. And as long as we're doing the positive stuff, we'll get through this together, because that's what it takes. Yeah. We all have to make sure that we're going to get through this with love, with patience, with kindness. And the way to celebrate that is find something positive to remember and to donate to his life with. So whether you are feeding children somewhere, whether you're making a donation in his name, whether you stopped and bought somebody on the street a sandwich or something, know that if you've done something positive, you're making a difference. And this is what Tyre Nichols would want for you to do in his honor and his memory.
Yeah, even when we played the segment, we're going to play the Washington Post segment again. You know, his friends down in there said, this is the way I want you to be remembered. Not the person who was beaten and, you know, in the hospital shown like that. That wasn't the man that this man was there. He wasn't a thug. He wasn't a street banger. He wasn't a gang banger. He wasn't a drug dealer. This man was just a beautiful person like us doing wonderful things, you know, and this is what we want to highlight on the PIC TV network. Michelle, I'm so happy again that you came on with me today talking about this wonderful young man's life. And we're going to do more on PIC TV network. Michelle, I want to talk about your books. You've been traveling, you've been doing some wonderful things. And I want to see if anybody watching from down Tennessee, maybe it's part of the family member in time, so this repeats, may want to get a book, and we'll pay for it to give it to them.
Okay, well, you know that anybody that wants a book right now, I have one that's free. That's called "Mommy, What is an Entrepreneur?" And they can get it by going to T as in the, M as in mommy, R as in Rita, C as in collection, U as in United, S as in states.com, and go to ebook, and they can get that book for free. I'm going to give you a link that you can scroll across the screen for everybody.
Yes.
Because the one thing about our life, and if we want to make a positive impact in our children's life, is that we have to make sure that they read, and that they read and learn about STEM and other things around the world. The other part of it is, check this out. We need to know our history.
That's right.
I'm not the only author that's Black that has books out there. If you want to know about your history, you need to read, and you guys need to read together as a family. You want our children to read more? They need to see you read. You need to model that. Those are the positive actions that we can perform in our life to honor this young man that has passed away. And that's what I'm doing. I want to make sure that your kids can have a free book. This is a digital book. The other part of it is you can go on YouTube. I'm reading this book out loud as a storytime reader, so you can get the book and you can have the read along with them. Now, Dr. Evans, I know I've told you, but we haven't dropped it yet. I'm going to be doing a $90 million fundraiser for our public hospital here in Atlanta because I'm living in God's purpose. And in this life, God is number one for me. A lot of people don't, they were like, well, if we come on the show or if people come on different shows and you talk about God, the networks won't play it. If you come on this television network, we acknowledge God. We acknowledge God and all of God's fullness, not as something negative, but something positive in your life. God healed me. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I have sarcoidosis in my lungs. I'm still living and I'm breathing on lungs that the doctor said I should be dead. That's God. And as long as we're acknowledging God and we're working in God's purpose, our lives are better. And that's my goal. My goal is to help public hospitals, to help our communities, and to help our children read. And Dr. Evans, let's get back to you. Let me give you your flowers up front. A lot of people don't know. Dr. Evans volunteers. He feeds the homeless. Yeah. He works with other community-based partners to make sure that they give out food, not just during the holidays, but all year around. So when you talk about the PIC TV network, not only are we giving you positive programming, but we're living in our purpose. And part of our purpose is making sure that we uplift our community. And so we serve in a positive manner, just like this gentleman right here, Mr. Nichols. He was a positive man, and we have nothing but regard and love for him and his family. So do something positive today to help somebody and do it in Tyre Nichols' name.
Well, you know what, Michelle, I love you so much, Michelle, because of the fact the world watches you and, listening to you, and it's all truth. Everything you're saying is truth, and to be able to speak well about this young man's life and to see we're highlighting the skating board, that he loved that. And I love what you said, Michelle. Let's do that in his honor, a skateboard support group in his honor, contest in his honor. That's a beautiful thing. Let's support the photographers, those who like to take beautiful pictures. Let's support them. That's keeping the legacy alive that this young man was doing. He wanted to be famous. That's what he said. He wanted, and now he will be famous in a positive way. We're not going to let that night. We're not going to let the darkness of that night overshadow this man's life. I love what you said, Michelle. What positive can we come on PIC TV network and talk about this young man's life? I love when you said that, Michelle. It brought chills to my body.
Well, Dr. Evans, life is short and it can be fleeting. But if we're doing good work, we're helping each other in the name of God. I mean, really helping each other. Isn't that where we're supposed to be in this life?
Yeah.
And this is what this one young man was bringing in. He was bringing in the positive aspects of this life, not negative, positive. He was a skateboarder. He loved life. He loved to laugh. He loved to smile. He loved watching the sunset. He honored his mother and father. Those are biblical principles, loving and honoring your mother and father. He took care of his child and he worked.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful life.
Yeah. And we want to thank God for just all these beautiful things. Folks, you want this special presentation on PIC TV Network. This is so beautiful that me and Michelle Cox have come on, and we're praying for the family. Thank you for popping in. We see people commenting on today. Something positive can always come out of a negative situation. Thank you, Coach Evans. We're showing, again, Yes, great show, changed the narrative. Wow, that's what Michelle, when we're talking about, to highlight the beautiful things that this young man was doing in his life. We're going to take a brief commercial. We're going to come right back. Don't touch that dial. Keep chatting in. This is a special presentation from Pick TV Network honoring the life and legacy of Tyre Nichols and his family. We'll be right back after this.
He didn't have a negative bone in his body, like at all. Energetic, outgoing, funny, goofy, always had a smile on his face. He could have gave him the name Cheeseburger.
My son, I know everybody say mothers say they had a good son, everybody's son is good, but my son, he actually was a good boy. My son loved me to death. And I know that was a bad word, but that's how he felt.
We know what you mean.
Yes, ma'am. We love
He had my name tattooed on his arm, and that made me proud, because most kids don't put their mom's name. But he did. On a Saturday, my son would wake up, go to Starbucks, he'd go to Shelby Farms, because he liked to skateboard. That was his passion. He's been skating since he was 6 years old. That day, when he left around 3 o'clock, he was on his way to Shelby Farms because my son every night wanted to go and look at the sunset. That was his passion, going to Shelby Farms to watch the sunset and take pictures.
I want Tyre to be remembered as and this not just me talking for no interview. This is a great kid. I want kids and other people to know ain't nothing wrong with being yourself. Tyre brought something out of me to make me feel like, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to follow a trend to be loved. You can be yourself. You can skateboard, you can ice hockey, you can do whatever that you want to do. And people will still love you.
All I know.
And that's what we want to pick up right there, Michelle. Either one of his family member, friends, loved ones said, this is the way I want Tyre to be remembered. And that's what Pick TV Network comes in with the story of how he wants him to be remembered. The young man who we see skating and the man when we see looking at the sunset. That's some of the stuff I like to do, Michelle.
Well, I know because you've made a movie about not only sunsets, but when you see different cloud formations and how they look and how you see God in it and God's work in it. And that's amazing. And so I know that I also enjoy sunsets. I like going to the park, swimming, those kind of things. But I like to look at clouds. I love to look at the sky. I like to look at the nebula. And so for me, I have this whole positive vibe when we're talking about Tyre. I have this whole positive thing when we're speaking of Mr. Tyre Nichols, because look at that smile.
Yeah.
And the man says you could have called him Cheeseburger. I love cheeseburgers, and I love this cheeseburger smile right here.
Yeah.
So thank you for a beautiful life.
Yep.
Mr. Tyre Nichols. Thank you for spreading love, compassion. And Dr. Evans, thank you and the Pick TV Network for always giving us positive programming that highlights the excellence of Black and African American people everywhere.
And I want to thank you, Michelle, because again, when you said, let's just show the positive, let's not talk about the officers, let's not highlight them, let's talk more about the good things that Tyre has done in his life, and let's build off of that. That's when we talk about Dr. Martin Luther King and other great leaders, we don't talk about the person who shot him and the bullet and all that, but we talk about the great things that he's done, the peace, the marches that he did. The I Have a Dream speech. We talk about the wonderful things because that's what the memory of his legacy should be. And the same thing with this young man. he was on doing the right thing, you know, and we're going to build off of that on Pick TV Network. I don't know what other networks are doing, but this is what we're going to do, Michelle, on the Pick TV Network, you know. And I love everything you said, Michelle, about this young man's life, building, setting a trend for his kids, you know, for the other young people that's watching this show. He was doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And the other part of it is his friend said, you could be whoever you want to be in a positive manner. He didn't subscribe to anybody's thoughts of how he should be as an African American. He liked skateboarding. He loved it. He liked skateboarding. He liked music. He liked spending time outdoors. He liked photographing sunsets and watching sunsets. All a positive thing. And as long as we continue to be positive and remember him in a positive way and live our life in purpose and in positivity, you can't go wrong there. No matter how short your life is. If it makes a positive impact, a positive effect, that's where we need to be.
Yeah.
Dr. Evans, back to you.
Thank you. And you're watching the Pick TV Network special presentation today, everybody. This is called the Hello America Show. We're being this across the world on Pick TV Network. And we're with Michelle Cox from Atlanta, Georgia, our anchor person, our award-winning person. And I'm here in Washington, D.C., and we're talking about the life, the legacy of our hero, our American hero. And this young man, again, is a man who we want to recognize from Pick TV Network and sending our love to his family. And I think the funeral program is coming up soon, Michelle.
They're having a memorial service. They had a funeral January 17th. Now they're having a memorial February 1st in Memphis, Tennessee on Mississippi Street.
Wow. Okay. Great. I see some more people chatting in with us. Okay. We're going to close out the segment today, folks. And this is a special presentation today for Pick TV Network. And we did something special for Tyre and his wonderful family. And I dedicated, along with Michelle Cox and all the Pick TV Network managers, this special video as we close out today. Watch this.
This is a special presentation dedicated to the memory of Tyre Nichols. On behalf of the Pick TV Network managers and the President David Evans, we send our deepest condolences to the family of Tyre Nichols. As we look at this short film today, the short media presentation from the Pick TV Network, it's live. This is in Oxon Hill, Maryland, right outside the DMV as we're recording this footage. We've seen something we never saw before. This image of two lights in the sky, two beautiful lights in the sky. This was never seen before while we were recording short films. We never seen this light appear two places in the sky at the same time. This was amazing as we were recording this. You can see it right there. It looked like a form of angel or just a form of light illumination. It's breathtaking. Again, this was never seen before. This is our first time seeing this as we dedicate this presentation today in the memory of Tyre Nichols and his family. We send our deepest condolences. As you look at this footage today, you'll see some beautiful scenes that is live, again, from the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. As we're recording this footage, we have short films that we have recorded, and this one is a special dedication today. And my name is David Evans, your narrator, and also the president of the Pick TV Network. As you look at this presentation today, we're going to show you another scene as we're going to go to record at the National Harbor. And because Tyre loved sunset recordings, we did some sunset recordings in honor of him. Just like sunset recording. Again, is at the National Harbor, which we're recording here in the beautiful sunset, because God is good. And we want to thank God for this Tyre, a good man. Destination in progress. Every plane takes off and it has a destination, because the navigator is designed that plane to fly to a beautiful destination, and beautiful sunsets take place. As you're watching this short film today, we also are going to go towards the end of this presentation, and you'll see original photographs by Tyre and what he had taken place as a beautiful setting where he was shooting and taking beautiful pictures, because again, he loves the sunset and the sunset views, and we decided to have that special edition with his footage, and you'll see his name at the sites that he was recording his photographs. As we are live at the National Harbor, right outside of Washington, D.C. This is the live footage that we did, and special prayers go out to the family of Tyre, and love will always win. When we look at this young man who loved life, a free spirit, and to see Tyre Nichols, this is original footage by him. A wonderful young man who loved life, and I was just amazed by him being a working man at FedEx overnight, and loved to take pictures, loved nature, and just listening to his family. He was raised right, and this one of the original pictures by Tyre, and a beautiful, beautiful picture taken by him. This is original footage taken by him, and I want to just a wonderful, free-spirited young man, 29 years old, living life, and the whole world is praying for his family. Again, we send our condolences from the PIC TV network and the managers, and our deepest sympathy to the family of Tyre Nichols. And we love him, and the world is in love with him. And we're going to continue to pray justice will be served, and his life and legacy will never be forgotten. On behalf of the PIC TV network and all of the partners around the world, we're praying for the family, Tyre, and thank you for your time. My name is David Evans, and we want to thank his family and everybody who's been watching and praying for the family. and our social media partners around the world. Pick TV, www.watchpicktv.com. Thank you for your time, and thank you again for the life and legacy of this young man, Tyre Nichols. Rest in peace, my brother. Tyrese, rest in peace.
That was a special presentation from the Pick TV Network to the world. Michelle, I know we were supposed to close out the broadcast, but you got caught up, Michelle. That was something that we did for Pick TV Network, remembering the positive life of this young man. Michelle, watching that video, and I know this was your first time watching it. How did you feel, Michelle? Watching the scenes when the originals that we did, the scenes that we never saw before while we were recording. This was just on the other day, and then we put in his footage too. How did you like that, Michelle?
I think it was a beautiful tribute. I think it was a very positive way to show love to the family and to show that we can celebrate things, even the things that seemed tragic at the time, in a positive manner. Dr. Evans, thank you for letting me be a part of this broadcast. And to Mr. and Mrs. Wells, again, we send our condolences out to the family and friends everywhere. But know that Tyre Nichols is making a positive impact around the world. Dr. Evans, back to you. And to our viewers, remember, every day, love and do something positive to show that that's how we support our community.
Thank you, everybody. This is, again, special presentation on the Pick TV Network. You can watch the repeat on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and also the Pick TV Network. Michelle Cox is here. Don't forget, if you want to get one of her books, she's also have books out and some more products that she's going to be sharing with you guys around the world. And our network is about information. We're about education. We're about inspiration and entertainment. And today we brought something special to the whole world about Tyre Nichols, the beautiful side that we want to show, change the narrative, show the positive things that this young man was doing, a wonderful work at FedEx, a person who loves sunsets, shooting photographs, a young man who was a father, who loved his family, a family man, all these beautiful narratives. And this is what we're going to continue to show about him. Thank you, everybody, for watching Pick TV Network. Until we meet again, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, world. Thank you for your love and support to the Pick TV Network. God bless. Bye-bye.
We've all been hurt at some point, even abandoned. Many of us have done the hurting ourselves. We get to the point where we don't trust anyone, nor do we feel worthy of being loved by anyone. Then there's that one person who just doesn't give up on loving you. Their love is unconditional. Their love stays long enough for you to heal. And then they promise to never leave. That's love you can count on. God's love.
This is a plea to our brothers to stop killing one another. This is to the powers that be. I want you to realize we're part of God's family. We can no longer ignore what's happening in the streets. I can't walk down the street without you harassing me. I'm doing nothing wrong. Why do you need to see my All I'm saying, from a different mother. I don't want no trouble. No, no. From a different mister. The skin that I'm in makes you hate me from within. Do my dress make you scared? Why you feel I should be dead? I don't have a gun. It's just my phone. Please leave me alone. I'm just trying to make it home. Oh, you found my brother. All I'm saying, from a different mother. I don't want no trouble. You found my sister. Oh, from a different kill me. Please remove your knee. I'm trying to go home to my family. So please don't kill me. Yeah, yeah. Please don't shoot me. I wanna go home to my family. Yeah. Please don't harm me. Yeah. I wanna go home to my family. Yeah, yeah. Please don't kill me. Don't kill me. I wanna go home to my family. Yeah. So please remove your knee. Please don't shoot me. Yeah. Don't kill me. I have a family waiting on me. Yeah, yeah. Please don't murder me. I don't. Please don't kill me. I wanna go home to my family. So please don't shoot me.
Rock of ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy riven side which flowed be of sin the double cure. Save me from its guilt and power, and not the labor of my hands can fulfill the law's demands. Could my zeal no respite know? Could my tears forever flow? Or could never sin erase? Thou must save and save by grace. And nothing in my hands I bring, simply to the cross I cling. Naked come to thee for dress, helpless look to thee for grace. Foul I to the fountain fly, wash me, Savior, or I die. And while I draw this fleeting breath, while my eyes shall close in death, when I soar to worlds unknown, see thee on thy judgment throne, Rock of ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee, Rock of ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself, let me hide myself, let me hide myself in thee. Let me hide myself, let me hide myself, let me hide myself in thee. Let me hide myself, let me hide myself. Let me hide myself in thee, 'cause you are the source of my strength, and you are the strength of my life. I lift my hands in total praise to you.
Hello, everybody. We made it to another end of another show on the Pick TV network. Certainly want to send our prayers again to everybody around the world. We are praying for the family of Tyre Nichols and his families there. And as we think about the great patrons, we have Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. We have right here Malcolm X, and behind me Barack Obama. And it's so many people who've gone on, and we remember the wonderful things that they did on this planet while God allowed them to be here. And today we wanted to celebrate another young man's life and his legacy, the wonderful things that Tyre Nelson had done on planet Earth. And we send our prayers. Please watch this program again. Watch the repeats, like, share. Those who are watching on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, the Pick TV Network, Channel 1000, wherever you're watching this program. This is what we want to do on Pick TV Network, is bring positive programming and showing you great things that we can bring on television to showcase what we're doing. That includes you around the world, that we are doing positive things from a positive perspective. Thank you for your time. My name is David Evans. I'll see you on the next program on the Pick TV Network.
This is a special presentation dedicated to the memory of Tyre Nichols. On behalf of the Pick TV Network, managers, and the President David Evans, we send our deepest condolences to the family of Tyre Nichols. As we look at this short film today, the short media presentation from the Pick TV Network, it's live. This is in Oxon Hill, Maryland, right outside the DMV as we're recording this footage. We've seen something we never saw before. This image of two lights in the sky, two beautiful, beautiful lights in the sky. This was never seen before while we were recording short films. We never seen this light appear, two places in the sky at the same time. This was amazing. As we're recording this, you can see it right there. It looked like a form of angel, or just a form of light illumination. Is breathtaking. Again, this was never seen before. This is our first time seeing this as we dedicate this presentation today in the memory of Tyre Nichols and his family. We send our deepest condolences. As you look at this footage today, you'll see some beautiful scenes that is live, again, from the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. As we're recording this footage, we have short films that we have recorded, and this one is a special dedication today. And my name is David Evans, your narrator, and also the president of the PIG TV network. As you look at this presentation today, we're going to show you another scene as we're going to go to record at the National Harbor. And because Tyre loved sunset recordings, we did some sunset recordings in honor of him. This live sunset recording, again, is at the National Harbor, which we're recording here in the beautiful sunset because God is good. And we want to thank God for this, Tyre, a good man. Destination in progress. Every plane takes off and it has a destination because the navigator is designed that plane to fly to a beautiful destination, and beautiful sunsets take place. As you're watching this short film today, we also are going to go towards the end of this presentation, and you'll see original photographs by Tyre and what he had taken place as a beautiful setting where he was shooting and taking beautiful pictures because, again, he loves the sunset and the sunset views, and we decided to have that special edition with his footage, and you'll see his name at the sites that he was recording his photographs. As we are live at the National Harbor, right outside of Washington, D.C. This is the live footage that we did, and special prayers go out to the family of Tyre. And love will always win. When we look at this young man who loved life, a free spirit, and to see Tyre Nichols, this is original footage by him. A wonderful young man who loved life, and I was just amazed by him being a working man at FedEx overnight and loved to take pictures, loved nature, and just listening to his family. He was raised right, and this one of the original pictures by Tyre, and a beautiful, beautiful picture taken by him. This is original footage taken by him, and I want to just a wonderful, free-spirited young man, 29 years old, living life, and the whole world is praying for his family. Again, we send our condolences from the PIG TV network and the managers, and our deepest sympathy to the family of Tyre Nichols, and we love him, and the world is in love with him. And we're going to continue to pray justice will be served, and his life and legacy will never be forgotten. On behalf of the PIC TV network and all of the partners around the world, we're praying for the family. Tyre, and thank you for your time. My name is David Evans, and we want to thank his family and everybody who's been watching and praying for the family, and our social media partners around the world. PIC TV, www.watchpictv.com. Thank you for your time. And thank you again for the life and legacy of this young man, Tyre Nichols. Rest in peace, my brother. Tyrese, rest in peace.
He didn't have a negative bone in his body, like at all. Energetic, outgoing, funny, goofy, always had a smile on his face. He could have gave him the name Cheeseburger.
My son, I know everybody say mothers say they had a good son, everybody's son is good, but my son, he actually was a good boy. My son loved me to death. And I know that was a bad word, but that's how he felt.
We know what you mean.
Yes, ma'am.
He had my name tattooed on his arm, and that made me proud, because most kids don't put their mom's name. But he did. On a Saturday, my son would wake up, go to Starbucks, he'd go to Shelby Farms, because he liked to skateboard. That was his passion. He's been skating since he was 6 years old. That day, when he left around 3 o'clock, he was on his way to Shelby Farms, because my son every night wanted to go and look at the sunset. That was his passion, going to Shelby Farms to watch the sunset and take pictures.
I want Tyre to be remembered as and this ain't just me talking for no interview. This is a great kid. I want kids and other people to know ain't nothing wrong with being yourself. Tyre brought something out of me to make me feel like, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to follow a trend to be loved. You can be yourself. You can skateboard, you can ice hockey, you can do whatever that you want to do, and people will still love you.
All I know is my son was a great, great kid. He didn't deserve what he got. Now what he deserves is justice.
Jeff.